Welcome to Love in Life, a guide to a positive mindset. I'm your host, Lisa. I'm a mindset and energy coach, and each week you'll discover mindset shifts, energy practices, and real life tools to help you feel more confident, calm, and in flow, because you deserve to love the life you're creating. I'm so glad you're here with me. Let's get going on today's episode. Welcome back to Love in Life. How are we all doing? Thank you so much to those of you who have reached out this week. If you follow me on Instagram, then you will probably know that I have been somewhat under the weather. I've had a stinking cold, probably the same as everybody else. It is really doing the rounds at the moment. But for about 5 days, I have been very, very good and resting. Even Craig said the other day, he thinks I've rested more than I ever would normally. But yeah, I've been resting up this week because I have had, the most horrendous cold, which I did so well to keep away from. The boys have had it twice, and Craig, they've all had it twice. And I was there being all smug, thinking I've got away with not having any colds. I must have the best immune system. And then, this is funny. So I took my niece to London on Friday, and on the coach on the way home, I fell asleep because we got quite a late coach back. I say late, it was like 7:30, but that is pretty late for me. So I fell asleep on the coach, and I woke up, and when you fall asleep on a coach or on a plane and you can't help, because of how your head is angled, you can't help but sleep with your mouth open. So I woke up on the coach with my mouth open and thinking, shit, my throat is killing me. I must have had my mouth open. And the following day, I still had a sore throat. In fact, I had a cough and a sore throat. So it had obviously developed. That was the start of it coming on. But yeah, I found out something very interesting earlier on today, because I was thinking, I really do feel like I've got a really good immune system. And it was really bugging me how I'd all of a sudden come down with this cold. So I came down with the cold on, let's say, Friday night, Saturday morning. And then on Monday, I had the first day of my period. So it got me thinking, is there a link between, your luteal phase, which is the last phase of your cycle, and your immune system? And it turns out your immune system our immune systems are weakened when we are in the luteal phase. So the luteal phase, I'll go into this more in another episode, I think, because this is really interesting. But the luteal phase is after ovulation. So after ovulation, the time after ovulation and the first day of our cycle. So it's that second half, basically, of our cycle. That is the luteal phase. And our immune system becomes weakened in that phase because our hormones have all dropped, and therefore our immune system is weakened. Like, do we not have enough crap to put up with as women? But I thought that was really interesting. So yeah, I think a note to myself and to others out there: look after yourself in that second half of your cycle, because make sure you wash your hands and stay away from anybody who's coughing and sneezing, because you might very well come down with something because your immune system's going to be weakened. Anyway, before I get on to today's content, I just want to say thank you to those in Louisville in Kentucky for coming back, because yet again, you guys have had the highest downloads for the week, as well as those in Boston. So if you are returning this week, massive welcome. Thank you so much for coming back. I would really appreciate a share. If you can take a screenshot of you listening to this, wherever you are listening to this, unless you're driving, don't do that. But if you're out walking, if you're doing the housework, if you are, I don't know, whatever you're doing, wherever you're listening to this, I'd love it if you could take a screenshot of yourself listening to my podcast and pop it on your stories and tag me in it. I'd love to know where you guys listen. I know a lot of people listen as they're driving, maybe to work. So obviously, if you are doing that, then please don't hold your phone whilst you are driving. But maybe when you've stopped driving, maybe you could take a screenshot of the podcast and share it on your stories and tag me in it. I would really appreciate that. Now, what I want to talk about today is kind of what we've been building up to this month. So the theme for December so far has been, like really slowing down for winter, listening to your body, listening to nature and slowing down. Because if you don't, then your body, and I'm laughing because this is me, then your body will find a way for you to do it. So that has been the theme for this month so far. I do apologise. I've still got a really dry throat, so I'm like got a horrible, annoying dry cough. Let me get some water actually. There we go. So what I have been building up to this month, or maybe for the last couple of months, is slowing down over winter, because in a couple of days' time, we have got the shortest day of the year, the darkest day of the year, which is the winter solstice. On the 21st of December, the day is the shortest amount of daylight hours we will have. This is obviously just in the northern hemisphere. So if you're listening from Australia or anywhere else in the southern hemisphere, then, I don't know, you can flip this and turn it around, or you can go back and listen to maybe a summer episode. But this will obviously be relevant to you at some point. So the winter solstice marks the shortest day and the longest night of the year. It's the moment when darkness reaches its peak. And from this day, the light begins to return. So for centuries, for thousands of years, cultures around the world have honoured this turning point by celebrating the return of the sun, but also celebrating the stillness. So that is what we have been building up to. Energetically, the solstice invites us to pause. It invites us to stop pushing, stop striving, and to recognise that the quieter season has a purpose. Like, whilst we celebrate the sunlight coming back, there is a purpose to this darkness. Without darkness, you can't have light. Without sadness, you can't have happiness. It's a universal law of polarity. And if you look out the window right now, you won't see many leaves on the trees. You won't see many plants in bloom. Everything is still. Everything is resting. And that is something to celebrate as well. So if this year has felt heavy, or if you've, on contrast, if you've had an amazing year, this time for stillness, this is the time to reflect on that. This is the time to turn inwards, to listen, to allow yourself to rest without guilt, but also to celebrate what's happened, but also to let go of the things that you no longer need to carry anymore. So in this episode, I am going to share with you some lovely but simple ways that we can do that. So this first one I want to share with you is a beautiful one, and it is sort of celebrating the light returning. So the first one is to light a candle, and you can do this. This is just as effective if you light one candle or 10 candles. One candle is just as effective. This is about the intention behind it, as with anything. So the candle, the flame of the candle represents the sun. And as we light our candle, And you can do this as the sun sets or even in the evening after the sun is set. But just sit with it quietly, knowing that the flame represents the sun returning. But think about, reflect on what's felt heavy or draining for you this year. What do you want more of? Hey, I just want to interrupt this episode very, very quickly. You may have noticed that Love in Life has always been completely ad-free, and I would really love to keep it that way. So instead of adding sponsors and ads, I have set up a super easy way for you to support the show for less than one Starbucks a month. As a thank you, you'll also get my Monday morning pep talk, a short exclusive audio drop every Monday morning to give you a bit of inspiration for the week ahead. Sometimes it will be a little energy reset or a bit of a motivation boost. It's such a small way to give back, but it makes such a difference to me. And it just means that I can keep pouring my heart and soul into this podcast for you. I just want to thank the first of you who have already generously signed up. It means so much. So whether you just want to support the show and thank me, or maybe you want a bit of Monday morning Lisa talk, you can either click on the link in the show notes, or if you listen on Apple, you can simply click on one of the episodes that already has a little padlock on it. Thank you so much. Now let's continue with today's episode. Light slowly returns. And you can do this in your mind, or maybe you can get a journal out. But keeping that candle burning for a while as a symbol of hope gently growing. So as you are writing or as you are reflecting, just look back at that candle flame every now and again and just remember that joy and light will be returning soon. The second ritual, which you can either do this as two or as one ritual, but if you take two pieces of paper and you use one of them for a release letter and one of them for a renewal letter. So for the release letter, I want you to write everything down you are ready to release. So, those things that have felt heavy or draining this year, those things that you're ready to let go of. Maybe you've got some old beliefs that you are ready to let go of. Maybe there are some habits. Maybe there are things that worry you that you are ready to let go of. Or maybe versions of yourself that you have outgrown. Now, we are not just getting rid of these things. We are thanking them, because if we didn't have those things, are we all right, Rosie? If we didn't have those things, we wouldn't be where we are today. So we honour them, we thank them, but we also are ready to let them go. And that is fine. And then on the second piece of paper, on your renewal letter, I want you to write intentions for the coming months. Not goals, because as you may know, I don't necessarily believe in, I don't feel like this is the time of year to set big goals and to try and put energy into new things that you want to happen. I don't believe it's the right time of year to do that. I believe that we still need to be reflecting and honouring the stillness at this time of year. So this is more about intentions. So there is a big difference. I don't want you to write big goals, but maybe set intentions. And if you're thinking, what the fuck is the difference between setting intentions and setting goals? And there is a big difference. So the reason why I believe winter is for intentions and not goals is because a goal is something that you aim at. You put your energy behind it. It's outcome focused. So it usually has a timeline, a structure, Goals ask questions like, what do I want to achieve? What do I need to do? They are more specific. How will I get there? Goals are powerful, but they require momentum. They require clarity and energy. But winter is not a season for momentum. We're not there yet. So, and this is why I truly believe that New Year's resolutions do not work. An intention, on the other hand, is something that you embody. It's less about doing and more about just being and allowing. So intentions ask softer questions about, how do I want to feel? What energy do I want to carry? And how do I want my life to be? It's more about being. So an intention doesn't demand action straight away. It just creates an internal direction. So that is the difference. Goals are more outward and intentions are more inward. I hope I've explained that. So an example might be, a goal would be, I want to get a new job. Whereas an intention would be, I intend to feel confident. I intend to feel valued and aligned in my work. So you're kind of saying the same thing, but you are taking off the pressure. You are not necessarily putting the energy behind it just yet. There's plenty of time for that. The goal focuses on the destination. The intention focuses on that relationship you build with yourself along the way. Now is not the time to force growth. If you think about, let's look out the window again. If you are forcing growth, you're not going to get anywhere. We've planted seeds. They're not going to start flourishing. They're not even going to start thinking about it until at least another few weeks. So we have to think of ourselves as planting seeds. We have to think of intentions as planting seeds. They're going to stay there for a little while. And you don't check on it every day to see if it's growing, because you know it's not yet. You just trust the process. You trust that when spring comes in a few weeks' time, those goals will naturally grow from those intentions, and then we can put the energy behind it. So that is the difference between, the third ritual that you could do is to take a nature honouring walk. So obviously honouring nature as you're walking. So if you can, take a slow walk outdoors. I know I joked last week about being jealous of those people that go for a walk on Christmas Eve. I'm going to set the intention to do that this year. Maybe not even on Christmas Eve, but at some point between now and Christmas, to make time to go out for an intentional nature honouring walk. Even if you can, only manage it in your garden or in a park or something, something that is achievable. Make it something that is achievable to you. But notice those bare branches on the trees. Notice the quiet, dead looking soil. Notice the stillness. And maybe collect something like a leaf or a pine cone or a stone, something that represents nature, and keep it somewhere in the home where you will see it. So on a windowsill, maybe if you put it actually on a windowsill which is facing the sun. So as whilst that is still resting, it's also honouring the sun that is returning. It's celebrating the sun that's returning. Does that make sense? So just remember, it kind of represents that rest or stillness, which is the thing that you've borrowed from nature. Stillness is not emptiness. It's preparation for when the sun comes back, when our energy comes back. If you enjoy energy work, then you might enjoy a solstice stillness meditation. And this is perfect if you can lie down or sit still and just place a hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Really connect with your body and visualize yourself in a dark space, a dark cave maybe, or a womb, or a cocoon. But imagine from the center of your chest, imagine a tiny spark of light beginning to grow. You don't need to force it, just notice that it's there. And if you can stay here for a few minutes, just breathing slowly, letting the light in your chest grow naturally. You can do this by yourself, of course, or you could do a guided meditation. Now, I will have a guided meditation on YouTube by the 21st, which is the winter solstice. So if you would like to listen to my guided meditation, then please do head over to YouTube, give me a follow, a subscribe, and make sure that you take a listen to it. And then finally, the last thing, which is what I've been barking on about all month, is rest. So, but make it intentional, okay? Don't just rest as a result of being ill, like I did. Intentionally make a ritual for, let's call it sacred rest, okay? So just remember that winter solstice is as much about rest as it is intention. It is as much about honouring stillness as it is celebrating the light returning. So choose one evening or one day or even if it's just 1 hour, whatever works for you, but choose choose a moment to intentionally do less. Intentionally. That is the key word here. Okay, so maybe make yourself a nice warm drink, have an early night, no scrolling, and tell yourself that rest is productive in this season. And this can just be the ritual, just intentionally having that time for rest. There's no extras, no fancy things required here. So do you notice all of these things that I have mentioned? We don't have to go out and do anything fancy. You know, all the things I've mentioned, they either involve a candle, they involve maybe writing a few intentions or writing a few things that you want to let go of. This is super easy stuff that you can do in like 10, 20 minutes. It doesn't take long. So I really encourage you to choose one or more. Maybe you could do one a day for the next few days. But even if you just choose one, then do it with intention. Do it knowing that you are letting go and you are honouring what has happened. You are honouring the darkness, to intentionally be open for the future, for the sun, for the joy and happiness that is to come. Now, if you would like to work with me, then make sure you head over to my website, www.lisadavage.co.uk/work with me, to find out all the different ways that we can work together. Don't forget, there is a group session coming up on Saturday, the 20th of December, which is only tomorrow. But this is going to be all about bringing your joy back this Christmas. So if you've seen any of the things I've put on Instagram or my emails about this, then maybe this resonates with you. We as women, as parents, we tend to let our own joy slip at this time of year. We remember the times as children that we really embraced the fun and happy side of Christmas. But the responsibility and the commercialism of Christmas often takes out the fun and the joy of it. So this is what I want to bring back in this hour-long session that is taking place tomorrow. So if you would like to join me, then please do book your space. It's on Zoom. It's at 3 p.m. GMT. So if you are like Central Time, then that is 9 a.m. So hopefully it's accessible to those who want to join. Okay, thank you so much for bearing with the coughing, the stuffy nose today. I really wish you a super happy and chilled winter solstice, and I will see you. Oh, actually, that's a point. And a Merry Christmas, because unless you join me on Saturday, this will be my last episode before Christmas. So have an amazing time, guys. I hope you are feeling the joy and happiness around it. If you're not, then please do join me tomorrow. But sending you so much love, and I will see you next week. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could take a moment to subscribe, rate, and if you're listening on Apple, as 95% of you do, review. It really helps the podcast reach more people who are ready to shift their mindset and raise their vibration. And if you know someone who would benefit from today's episode, feel free to share it with them. Until next time, keep loving life and know that I'm sending you so much love.